Have a ball today on the DLLS Mavs Podcast. Hello and welcome to the DLLS Mavs Podcast. Folks, we did it. We have made it to the All-Star break. I hope you can believe it because I sure can't. It's only been 56 games, but it might as well have been 56,000. You know what? We decided today to mix it up a little bit. My name is Bobby Carella, and I am stage left, camera right, in the host seat today, joining you fearlessly from the studios in a nondescript location, pretty much near American Airlines Center. Thank you for hanging out with us at DLLS Sports. Joining me today, Tim Cato.
That's me.
Yep. How are you, Tim?
You know, Kevin, it's lovely to see you today.
I'm not Kevin.
Okay. But Kevin, it's great for it to be the All-Star break. I think, especially with the past 2 weeks, with how much they accelerated, how much everything just got busy, and there was a lot of high-strung emotions. I'm ready for a few days off. So,
joining me at the end is not Bobby Carella. He is camera left, stage right, not in the host seat. He's in the analyst chair. It's the great Kevin Gray Jr.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Kevin.
This is what it feels like to sit in my wife's car as like a passenger. I'm going to let Bobby drive today. And Tim is going to just do it. I'm going to watch you guys do the show while I just pick apart everything that you say based off of what has happened so far. How about that?
I'm so down for that, Bobby. I did not know you had a wife, but
that is true. I didn't realize.
I've known you a long time, and this is brand new news.
Yeah, congratulations to Bobby. Congratulations
to yourself.
To me, exactly.
Congrats,
to me,
Bobby.
You also have a kid. I also have a kid as well. So there's that.
And
about.
Chill, get the hell out of here. Get out of here.
That's right.
Get the hell out.
So Max Christie is the reason they're winning? Okay, but
hey,
what about all the other players who were on the roster before?
Since you got all these words to say, why don't you come say it on the microphone there? No, people want to see Chill at this point. No, I'm just joking.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
From the peanut gallery.
The musical chairs does not end there, though, because normally it would be producer Tanner in the producer chair, but today it's Kati Viaba.
Woo!
What's up, Kat?
What's up, Bobby?
I asked you first.
No, as soon as you started introing everyone, I'm so conditioned. I was looking for y'all's drops.
Oh, yeah.
The Cowboys, I was like, you're like, I'm Bobby. And I was like, oh
it's not 77 yards. It's not a reality show, although it sure feels like one.
I think I do have a drop, actually, that we've used before. The whole Home Alone Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin! Yeah, that one.
We got a lot of Stein drops. Mark Stein is not here today.
Oh, but he will be with us. He's got news, though.
Yeah, he will be with us throughout next week. He did just drop a piece on his Substack. If you're not subscribed, I double dog dare you to go sub to that as soon as you possibly can. He just dropped some intel on Anthony Davis and his recovery timeline. Tim, on the postgame show last night, you shared some stuff that was pretty similar to what Stein reported as well. I still double dog dare you to download to the Substack, but it just goes to show you we have not just one, not just two, but 3 kg of the greatest minds in all of Mavs media, and then I am also here. But folks, we're not going to talk about injuries, at least over the next 15 minutes. It's Valentine's Day. It's the season of love. You're supposed to go spend money to show someone special in your life how important they are to you. Now, we're not going to ask you to spend money on us today, and I'm not going to spend money on the Mavs, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that are watching the show that aren't spending any money on the Mavs either. But
if they want to drop a super chat, I mean, feel more than free to do that.
That is a good point.
If you want to show us some love that way.
Actually, I'm going to say today, spend that on a significant other or a crush.
Maybe they have crushes on us, Tim.
And maybe we're their significant others.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, let
us?
us know which one of us is your favorite.
Please don't do that.
It's me. It's okay.
It is
Kat.
Kat.
Good call, Kat.
It is Kat.
Good
Let us
call.
know who finishes second.
Good call.
But it doesn't cost anything to love someone. It does not cost anything to share love. And in fact, it takes fewer muscles to smile than it does to frown. So we need to spread some cheer to these Dallas Mavericks. Lord knows they need it. Gentlemen, how about Kevin? Let's start with you.
Oh,
Kevin, it's Valentine's Day.
it is.
Who do we want to show love to? What do we want to show love to here on February 14th, 2025?
I want to show love to the guy that has personified this trade more than anyone. And that is you, El DeBarge, Max Christie. That is you, my guy. You have come in and performed admirably. You have come in with a smile on your face. You have performed extremely well with this team and have given a lot of Mavericks fans the opportunity to give you to be their new favorite player. So Max Christie deserves a lot of love. But no, in all seriousness, he's played well on both ends of the floor, knocking down shots, not afraid of the moment, had a couple of free throws to ice it for the win last night against Miami. So happy for Max Christie in the way that he's come in so far for this team.
That was 2 nights ago.
That was
right?
2 nights ago. Sacramento.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
No,
Sacramento.
Everything is
It's blurring
is-
all together. I'm sorry.
everything
Against
truly is
Sacramento,
blurring.
yes.
Wasn't
Thank
Sacramento
you.
like 3 nights ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it. Yes,
Before?
you're right. But yes,
That
thank you for the
was
correction. Yes,
Oh my God.
I mean,
they
who
played
even knows?
Monday, Wednesday, and
Yeah,
Thursday.
There's just no way to find out
Yeah.
at this point.
That's right. Actually, we could. There's the internet, but you know.
No, there isn't.
Max Christie's story is really impressive because, he's part of like the most controversial trade of all time. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of good. Like, I don't think anybody expected him to really be more than kind of like a decent factor. And now all of a sudden I'm like, man, they've got to do whatever they can to clear more playing time for Max Christie. So I want to echo your point, KG. That's a great take, Kevin
thanks.
Gray. That's a great take from the analyst chair.
This is awesome.
And we're
I
used
love
to
this.
great takes from that seat.
That
Tim,
is true.
what about you?
That's true.
I mean, honestly, I'm looking at his nothing about what Max Christie is doing. It's not like he's shooting like 80 and 70%. So who would I show love to? I mean, I think Dante Exum in his return. But I said that last night, so that's kind of boring.
No, it's not. There's
No,
a
it's
whole,
not.
it's,
There's
today's a whole
love
new
for
day.
sure.
You're so valid.
Okay, well, I already lost my moment of love for Dante Exum. He knows I rejected him in this moment.
Yeah.
That
love
I
is
said once
fleeting.
was enough. So I got to move on. Let's do Nah, I'm gonna stick with Dante Exum. He's really good.
All right. Love is patient. Love is kind.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think so. So I think I was gonna get to this a little bit later in the show, but it does kind of show that Dallas was more reliant or needed guards more than they needed centers. They could survive a lot of games without centers. Can't survive against the best teams in the NBA. But they had a bunch of centers available when Luka and Kyrie earlier this season were both out, or then Luka was out, and then Kyrie was missing games here and there. And what they struggled with is that when they did not have the guards, like this team runs around guards. And that's a really interesting thing because this trade has also been made to make this team bigger and to make it big dominant. And that may be the right decision, or that's going to look differently when you're playing the very best teams. Certainly, I think it will to an extent. But what this team was missing and what this team was going through when it kept losing games, I think to me is just the lack of guard depth. And Dante Exum has shown up, and he's been his handsome Aussie self, and he's just a lot of fun to watch. I enjoy watching him play basketball.
You made the point, Tim, last night, and like we have mentioned over the course of the last 6 months that we've been around that, hey, a healthy Dante Exum is a good player. But you did make a point last night. You wonder how many more games they would have won or how differently we would be viewing this whole thing if he would have been healthy or at least mostly available for most of the season. Like, he didn't make his season debut until like last week. And this is a guy who was one of their best on-off players last year, one of their best shooters, easily outside of Luka and Kyrie, their most consistent playmaker on last year's team. And so on this year's team, for them to be missing that guy for the entire season, not only are they missing him, but also it means more minutes for guys that aren't as equipped to handle that. Guys like Dinwiddie, who they didn't want to play 30 minutes a game. Jaden Hardy, who has kind of fallen out of the rotation, and so on. I mean, we were getting a lot of Goatman, a lot of Brandon Williams. Like, they've been trying everything because Exum isn't here, and now he's back, and it's like, oh yeah, I see what they've been missing.
Yeah, and Kevin, my bad on the rundown. I got a little bit out of
I'm gonna
sorts.
kick your ass off the show.
I was so Kevin, I was going to ask you at some point in a future segment. I was basically going to be like, is there some reason they're winning games now and winning consistently right now since the trade when they were not winning as consistently these games prior to the trade? But I think my answer was going to be this team, when they're playing bad opponents, they need guards far more than they need big men. You know, they've gone through different types of injury crises. I think. But I think the guard,
a lot of bad stuff
that has been, bolstered by Max Christie's addition, but also Dante Exum's return. I think that has helped them as much as anything. I don't know if you feel differently. I also think there might just be some randomness to this.
I think it's helped them. The pendulum keeps swinging, though. First, they had too many guards. Now they got too many bigs, not enough guards. Now they don't have any bigs, and they had a lot of guards. So it's just kind of like, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But I do know I love Dante Exum. I love Max Christie. KG, who else deserves some love, or what else deserves some love?
Kyrie Irving deserves a ton of love. I mean, year 14 for Kyrie, averaging over 24 points per game, 32 years old. Dealing with the back issue that he's been dealing with, and now is a 9-time All-Star. But more importantly, the leadership that Kyrie Irving has displayed, not only in the last couple of weeks particularly, but out the entire season as well, on the floor, off the floor, saying the right things, being the face of this organization in the wake of what has been the trade of 77 to Los Angeles. So Kyrie, I think, deserves a ton of credit because of the way that he's played, not just on the floor, but more importantly, what he's meant to this team off the floor and how he's led them throughout some difficult times so far this year, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's so right. And, like people have joked, not really joked, like watch, the Mavericks as an organization should watch what Kyrie is saying. And that's what they should model their PR response to this whole thing. It's exactly right. I mean, you were on this show, Bobby, a little bit, and you went kind of viral
That's right.
with a whole, like, this is what the Mavericks should say. I've heard so many people reference that, not rant, but, just impassioned speech of yours to the organization. Like, this is what you should have said.
I felt tremendous empathy for the fans of Dallas Mavericks.
And while you're doing that, and while that is resonating with the fan base, it feels like Kyrie Irving is the only person who's actually an employee, or Kyrie and most of the players. Like Klay Thompson has also been very good about this. But Kyrie especially has been the one vocal leader of this when it comes to speaking empathetically about what the fan base is feeling, what the locker room is feeling, and how imploring the fans to understand they also have, the players have a job to do. So give them some grace. They're going to keep trying to do that. But just understanding all aspects of this.
Claymore with a good shout out in the chat as well. Jason Kidd for stopping the ship from sinking. I totally agree. We've bestowed a lot of praise on J Kidd over the last week or so for keeping this thing steady. I mean, this team has won 4 of their last 5 games. They're starting Kessler Edwards and Omax at 4 or 5 or 5 and 4, whatever you want to view it at. And they're playing hard. They're bought in. They're grinding. You got guys that are not doing the job that they were hired to do. They're doing some other guy's job that they're not as good as, or not as tall as, or not as strong as, but they're fighting, they're battling. They're playing inspiring basketball, and that's really all that we can hope for. Now, the longer this goes on without Gafford, without Lively, without Powell, and of course without the man himself, Anthony Davis, it's going to be tougher for them to stay scrappy, but they've demonstrated at least that they believe that they can win. They believe that they can make the playoffs. They believe that they can beat good teams, and they're going to keep fighting. Kat, did we miss anybody or anything? No? Just no love in your heart, Kat?
No, I do I'll piggyback. I like Dante Exum. I just like him going downhill is so fun to watch. Like once he gets momentum going, like I very much enjoy having him back.
Every now and then he'll dunk. And then every now and then he'll try some weird floater finger roll thing. Like,
that's what I like so much.
You lauded his floater package throughout, or his layup package throughout the years when it comes to Dante.
It's just like it's like it must be an Aussie thing,
Let
Kyrie.
him cook. Just let him cook.
But him, like Dante specifically, just has a weird knack of shooting shots in a way that you haven't seen before.
Maybe it is an Australian thing. Kyrie Irving got the same kind of cool problem.
Maybe. What do they got going on down there?
Their layups spin the other direction.
Lastly, Tim Yeager in the chat says, love to our beloved big man center, Kessler Edwards. That's
oh, my
right.
gosh.
The man in the middle himself, Kessler Edwards, just holding it down. The new stretch 5, knocked down 3 threes last night. Well, hey, there's a lot to feel good about for this team right now, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions to get to on the other side of the All-Star break. We got some questions that are burning with the passion and the fire of love.
We can answer some of your questions too.
Yeah, we'll do that and a whole lot more, I'm told, coming up right after this.
I get to talk to you about Game Time, though, here on the DLLS Mavs Podcast. If you love going to basketball games, football games, concerts, sporting events, you got to use Game Time to get your tickets. Game Time picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. I use Game Time to get my tickets to WrestleMania April 19th and 20th at Allegiant Stadium. I was able to use the all-in pricing as well, so I knew exactly what I was going to pay before I checked out. And they have panoramic seat views, so I knew exactly where I was going to sit and the view I was going to have inside the stadium, and I was able to choose where I wanted to sit for the 2-night extravaganza. If you want to take the guesswork out of buying your tickets and get the lowest price guaranteed, Guaranteed will credit you 110% of the difference with their lowest price guarantee as well. And they got Game Time ticket coverage, so your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time every time. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service package as well in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Their products are designed with the highest quality material and craftsmanship, which you can tell. We've got one. Kevin, can you knock that for me?
Ow.
Like that sounds like high quality stuff right there.
Feels like high
that
quality
ensures they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. One of the most unique features of Rugged Road coolers is their ability to always float upright. You're never going to lose a drink. Also, unlike other heavy-duty coolers, Rugged Road coolers are incredibly light. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com. Use code DLLS for 10% off.
Love me some coolers. Love me some cool guys here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. And how about a cool gal in the producer's chair? Kat.
Hi.
Kevin. That's me. Bobby.
That's me.
Tim.
Hello.
It's time to give and answer some burning questions. All right, let's get down to business here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. We just talked about how they've won 4 out of the last 5, but folks, all that glitters is not gold. This isn't a perfect situation. Health issues abound. There's a lot of guys playing out of position, and can we count on Dante Exum to score 25 points a game? We got to dive right into the fastballs, all right? KG, I'm going to serve you up one first.
Okay.
The Mavs are stuck with 14 players. It is unclear when or if any of their big men will come back.
Mm-hmm.
A burning question I have is Omax and Kessler Edwards a viable center rotation?
You couldn't even say that with a straight face.
Down the stretch.
You couldn't even ask that with a straight face. You couldn't even get to the question.
Well, Kyler Kelly, too, to be fair. But
who?
Who? Kyler Kelly. Come on. He was 2 for 2 last night.
Oh, I thought he was still in witness protection because we hadn't seen him in a while. No, I'm just joking. Is that a viable center rotation? I mean, no, it's not. I mean, you're asking a team to play at center, guys that are, 6'7", 6'8", if that, for what could be the foreseeable future. I mean, I said last night in the postgame show that I'm operating under the assumption, and I'm not trying to play doomer guy. This is just the way I feel at this moment. I operate under the assumption that Anthony Davis, Derek Lively II, and Daniel Gafford will not be seen for the rest of the regular season.
I don't like that assumption.
I don't either, but based off of what we know, obviously Daniel Gafford now out at least 6 weeks, with the grade 3 MCL sprain, no real timetable established for Anthony Davis and his return. And obviously Derek Lively is in a walking boot right now when it comes to his ankle stress fracture. This team is going to have to find ways creatively to play with the size that's available to it. And Tim, you mentioned a little bit last night, once PJ Washington comes back, from the ankle sprain, that can help them a little bit. But to ask him to do this for the next 26 games potentially is a very, very tall order that I don't know can be sustainable for them to get to the top 6 of the West to avoid the play-in for the playoffs this year.
So they could we got 14 players. We said this earlier. They could sign a 10-way guy or a 10-day guy. You would have him for one time. So you could come out of the All-Star break, go get the tallest veteran center on the market, and for 10 days, or you would probably do it like, okay, when do we have the most games in a 10-day stretch? Because that is literally financially all they have available to them right now. They could also wait until about March 31st, and then they could sign the player for the rest of the season, be eligible for the playoff roster. But I think that the longer this team goes without centers, the less likely they need to be worrying about a playoff roster. To be quite frank, and so that's the very difficult thing that Dallas is facing. And should we mention the Mark Stein reporting? Should we go through that?
Yeah. So
real quick.
The reason that the Mavs can't sign a guy is because
I thought we were just talking about the injury update.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Sure,
also, yeah. Well, the injury update, yes. The reason the Mavs can't sign a guy.
You did share a lot of that info last night, but yeah.
Yeah. The reason the Mavs can't sign a guy is financial stuff. I did not know that Caleb Martin had a trade kicker, which affected this.
And that's the reason that they couldn't go sign a guy in the buyout market right now.
Yes, but
Anthony Davis waived his, which is really interesting. For kind of for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out AD, I guess.
Correct. It gave them it gave them the ability to make the trade.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what Mark Stein was reporting today was that the team has yet to announce a firm treatment course for Davis. Basically, it's very similar to what I was saying last night. Not wholly coincidentally, is that Anthony Davis may still need surgery. But until Dallas is certain of that, there's really no point. If they think there's a chance he can get back on the court this season by not having surgery and rehabbing it, they think there's a chance, a realistic chance. And that chance might be like 5% or 10% at this point. But if there is a chance he can get back on the court, then that makes more sense than shutting him down because, having the surgery right now would essentially mean the thing is it probably means the season's over. On the flip side, Dallas keeps winning games. And so if you had the surgery now and you thought, okay, well, maybe you're going to get him back for April for the first round. But even in that scenario, Dallas is probably facing play-in games without Anthony Davis, and then they're facing a very difficult first-round opponent without Anthony Davis, hoping that he's going to come back for game 1, but maybe it'd be game 2 or game 3, or maybe it wouldn't be at all. So they're just stuck in very much in a limbo state that is not – it's going to get more difficult.
I mean, and to be honest, at least from my vantage point, like if you're trying to just salvage an opportunity to get to the play-in, your season's over anyway. Like we're talking about a team that was literally just in the NBA Finals less than a year ago. Anything short of a deep Western Conference Finals run or beyond is a major disappointment given what we thought this team was going to be coming into this year. And obviously the changes that they've made has been difficult for them or will be difficult for them to navigate given their injury situation. But if there's a chance for him to come back and then contribute to a significant playoff run, yeah, I could see them going ahead and doing that. But it doesn't feel like that might – because they're going to be scratching and clawing to remain in the top 10 by the time you get to season's end, let alone getting to the top 6 of the West at this point.
Not if Phoenix keeps losing. That's a team that can't win a game right now to save its life. And, there's a lot of struggling going on in the West right now. And the Mavs are certainly the most banged up of the bunch, though. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Roger makes a good point in the chat. He says Kyrie's playing 40 minutes a night. I'm sorry, I don't like what's coming next. Roger, me neither. I don't like anybody playing 40 minutes a night. Certainly whenever that guy is 6 feet tall and, on my side of 30.
So let me ask you then. So let me ask you guys then. So with that being said, with Kyrie Irving playing 40 minutes a night, I think it's 4 or 5 straight games he's played at least 40 minutes a night at this point, or the 39-59 that he played last night. How sustainable is this going to be for him? Can he hold up for the rest of the regular season? Let's say if you don't have Anthony Davis for the next 4 to 5 weeks, he's going to have to shoulder the load for this team offensively. How do you see this playing out for Kyrie Irving having to do pretty much everything, creation, scoring, for this team going forward here for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
I mean, it's been going fine. It puts him under more strain and more risk. But beyond that, I mean, it's not something that I want to speculate on what could happen. I mean, it's the more he's handling this workload, the more something could go wrong.
Sure.
You know, I think it's really that simple. But he's doing it right now, and he's been doing it for a while. So I am not in the business of doubting Kyrie Irving and what he's capable of, even at this point of his career.
I think the one kind of point of hope, I guess, is because the Mavs are so tiny, teams are trying to attack that and not Kyrie. You know, it's not like let's get a switch on Kyrie every single time and go at him. The way that previous iterations of this team, it was just kind of choose your matchup. You want to go at Kyrie, you want to go at Luka, you want to go at Dinwiddie, you want to go at this guy, whatever. Now it's like, yeah, let's give it to our biggest player and try and score on Kessler Edwards, you know? And so I think that saves his legs a little bit defensively. So maybe their weakness is also their strength right now, but that's real hopium.
We talked about this. I'd be curious your thoughts on. I went through a bunch of teams that they're playing in the upcoming weeks, but I don't think you weighed in on this, Kevin. And I'd be curious what do you agree? Like Zion, is Zion a team that small ball Mavericks can handle, or is that like? Just,
I don't know if a big team can handle Zion,
right?
So,
but how much worse does that make it?
Potentially vary, but again, he's just such a different kind of player. I think, you know,
and low-key, they didn't handle him when they played him the first time around. They had a lot of minutes restriction, and PJ Washington was getting whooped repeatedly.
It's kind of one of those things, though, where, like, you know, it kind of reminds me of the Rockets in 2019-20, whenever they had Russ, they had Harden, and they basically just said, look, man, like, I think Capella was hurt or done for the year. Maybe even they traded him by then. I don't remember, but they were like, we're going to roll with PJ Tucker at the 5 for the rest of the year, and we're just going to see what happens. And, you know, the interesting thing that happened is teams started to be like, well, let's just attack that. They don't have a 5. Let's try and punish them for that. And I remember the Mavs going to Houston, and this is a game Luka missed. Luka had sprained his ankle in practice the day before this game. And the Mavs just kept trying to force it into KP in the block. And it was like, okay, they were doing okay, but they ended up losing the game. But they were doing something that was so uncharacteristic of what their offense was. And I think you might see teams try and do something they're not used to doing to attack that weakness. Is one of those things where, KG, you were like, why don't they just dump it into the big man every single time? Well, they just don't. Teams just don't do that. You know, it's just not in their character. So you want to stay in your offense. You want to do what you do. It's really tough to say, no, clear out Alex Len. Like when the Mavs go to LA in a couple weeks,
yeah,
they're going to dump it down to Alex Len every time. Like, I just don't think that's going to happen.
I think the Lakers should sign Al Jefferson.
Ooh,
oh wow,
yeah. Maybe the Mavs can do that.
Wow,
no, they don't have the money.
Oh,
yeah,
Al Jefferson. That's a throwback name.
Post player.
I guess I'm thinking about it in the context of the teams that theoretically the Mavericks would be contenders with when they're healthy, and they're not going to be. So I'm thinking about the Oklahoma City Thunders of the world, the Denver Nuggets of the world, who are on a tremendous hot streak right now. Like, these are teams that have tremendous big men that can, I think, be a little bit more adaptable to making sure that they're getting Jokic down in the block, or Hartenstein or Chet Holmgren, and being able to change the way that they play in order to beat a team like the Dallas Mavericks in their current state. I think the better teams that we're talking about here have the chance to be a little bit more malleable versus some of these other teams that the Mavericks will see that I think could give them some real problems down.
I do kind of disagree, only in that I wouldn't, if I'm a coach going up against the Mavs, I wouldn't try and feed the big. I would just have my guys shoot a lot and have the big get every rebound.
Yeah.
I think that's
sure.
what I would. I'm not changing my offense. I'm running my offense, but I'm just making sure, hey, tallest guy, once you set a screen, run as fast as you can to the basket.
Yeah.
Just put your hands up.
You said the Suns haven't been able to win a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just 5 games back of Dallas. Spurs, who have back-to-back games against them here in about a month.
The Spurs are 5 behind Dallas right now?
Yeah, just 5.
That's a lot more than I thought. Wow. Are they 12th?
Yeah, they're 12th. And they're down a little bit, but they also just traded for De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
And they have 2 games to directly make up ground on whatever Dallas
Well,
does.
and they have, get this, 4 games in hand on the Mavs. They have played 4 fewer games. So we kind of complained about this last night on the postgame show. The Mavs, not only have they been the most snake-bitten team in the league, but they've also played the most games of any team in the NBA, tying the Magic. And guess who have been the 2 most banged-up teams in the NBA this season? The Mavs and the Magic. I don't know, Adam Silver. Is it a coincidence? You tell me. Coming up next, though, on the DLLS Mavs podcast, we got some more questions, not just kind of like bad stuff. It's what have they done lately? What have the Mavs done lately that they can continue doing after the All-Star break? We'll get to that and a whole lot more coming up next on the DLS Mavs podcast.
But if you want to get fitted out in the best outdoor gear around, you got to get fitted with FOCO. Get fitted in the best sports gear around with hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. Or in my case, a pair of Cowboys Crocs that my wife and my daughter got me for Christmas, and they are very comfy as I wear them around the house for sure. If you're going to a basketball game or a hockey game, you can get some team-branded friendship bracelets. Shout out to Sarah for giving us ours at Cosm during our event a couple of weeks ago. Have mine at home right now as we speak. Whether it's jackets, beachwear, or even overalls, Bobby, there is something for fans for almost every occasion as well. They even got some set decorations here on set that you can see right here behind us as well. FOCO has donated some awesome pieces for our set, so make sure you go show them some love. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code DLLS for 10% off. Again, DLLS10 for 10% off with FOCO. Shout out to our guys at FOCO.
I've got the perfect gift for the passionate sports fans in your life. Perhaps you've heard of Ice Shaker. Ice Shaker is now officially licensed with the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, the NCAA, and MLB, and will make the ideal gift. And as a matter of fact, I got one right here. You know, whenever I'm shaking this around, you know what you don't hear? You know what you don't hear whenever I'm shaking this around? The patented twist-in agitator. It breaks up powders, but it's silent when you shake instead of that making that annoying sound like when that ball is moving around in there. The third party tested they're going to hold ice in there for more than 30 hours, which is unbelievable. And the agitator works as a strainer as well. Makes it a very solid tailgating cup to mix drinks, Tim. Order your team-branded bottles today at iceshaker.com and use the code ALLCITY25 for 25% off your order. Ice Shaker, show your support for your teams with the best branded workout bottles on the market. Ice Shaker. Welcome back to the DLLS Mavs podcast. You got Bobby in the host chair. You got KG in the Bobby chair. You got Tim in the Tim chair. You got Kat in the Tanner chair. Jeff Kavanaugh, Abby Jones in the studio with us hanging out as well. We are having fun on...
That's right.
We're having fun on day 1 of the All-Star break. It's going to be probably a too short week. Max Christie is the best player in the NBA, Jeff Kavanaugh.
That's right.
I guess we can, I don't know if Max Christie is a burning question. Feels like he's given us some burning answers. But what have we learned about this team that can continue after the All-Star break? So I'm challenging you for the next 15 minutes to remove from your mind everything that happened basically before February 4th or February 6th or whenever it is. What have we learned about the team over the last 5 games, and what have we learned about the players that are still here from the previous 40 games or 50 games or whatever it is that gives you either hope, optimism, caution, or concern as we head down the stretch, KG? Or Tim, who wants to start first?
Kevin, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this Clay fellow. He's obviously a really good shooter, and with him coming into the Mavericks and our existence just at the start of the year, he's definitely showing that he is a dangerous player. Like teams really have picked up on the fact that he can shoot, and so you see a lot of gravity, a lot of defenses kind of getting pulled out his direction. And I just want to see if this Clay fellow can build on that, really for an entire career. But I kind of like some of the stuff that, he doesn't have a big man right now. And some of what I liked best from him is the fact that he could kind of play well off of a big man. But I think there's more there. And, it's been a really good stretch of hot shooting from him, it feels, of late. That's exciting to see. I wonder how far he can take this in his career.
He took a lot of shots the other night and started hot and ended less hot. Brian Smith making me sad in chat. Max Christie's too good. Dumont will trade him for KD.
Oh,
Don't you dare try and manifest that. Don't even put that into the universe. Patrick Dumont might be watching, and he might get some ideas from this. KG, what about you?
I go back to when Anthony Davis made his debut with this team, and the first half, the 20 minutes that he played was some of the most dominant basketball that we've seen in a long time, and he did it on both ends of the floor. But more importantly, I think for me, the defensive tone that he set, if and when this team gets healthy, this team is going to be, in my mind, a defensive juggernaut. I mean, between Gafford and Lively and Anthony Davis, PJ Washington being a demon on the defensive end as well. I mean, they set a franchise record with 18 blocks that day against Houston. Alperen Sengun didn't want any parts of Anthony Davis in that first half. So that, to me, is the most encouraging part about the initial Anthony Davis experience, is that he's going to be dynamic on both ends of the floor, but it's the presence and tone at which he sets for the Mavericks defensively that could really change the game for them and how they attack opponents night in and night out. Because that defensive display that they had against Houston, and especially in that first half, was quite fun to watch.
Bobby, I thought we were trying to stay positive, though.
Well, I mean,
why are you talking about a player we're not going to watch again the rest?
I know, right?
Oh my.
But I mean that is the positive thing. If they're going to go in this direction, the defense at which they play, if they can lean on that and be able to find enough offense with Kyrie Irving, leading the charge for them, they're going to be scary defensively. Again, once this team is fully healthy, if that's the case, that we get to see them at some point later on this year.
Thing that I want to know if it's real or if it's just kind of a spur of the moment, let's ride this emotional wave, is this team going to be this scrappy bunch of underdog, like no one believes in us, we're just going to leave it all out there on every single possession, every single night, every single game? That's very exhausting. Now, outside of Kyrie, Clay, and Dinwiddie, basically all of the active players on this team are very young.
Yeah.
Like Dante Exum he's close to 30, if not 30, but he's only played 300 games in his NBA career, so it's
29.
not like he's got a lot of mileage. This team is pretty young. They're going to play hard. They're going to fight. They're going to battle. And a lot of guys, like, is Max Christie a 15-point per game player? I don't know, but he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to get a lot of chances to show us. Kyrie is probably going to command more double teams, and I guess one question I would have is, can they figure out what to do in those situations? Guys like Max Christie, Kessler Edwards, those are going to Omax. Those are going to be the guys that teams are going to double off of. I guess they probably won't double off Max, but they might use Max as the screener to try and compromise those situations a little better. But, if Kyrie is getting double teamed, can these young, relatively inexperienced, relatively unskilled guys compared to who's out, can they figure out a way to consistently punish those things? It's been a while around here since the Mavs have trotted out consistently a starting five and a big rotation that is not used to playing together and that is not used to playing in the NBA. That's not used to playing 30 minutes. For all the turnover in the last couple of years, like, okay, they get PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford at the trade deadline last year. Well, PJ's been a starter throughout his entire career for most of it. Daniel Gafford has played starter minutes for most of his career. So even the new players that have come in here over the last few years are still used to playing a ton of minutes, but now it's not the case. Now, PJ Washington will be back soon. Caleb Martin, Stein was less optimistic than we maybe hoped for, but he'll be back eventually. So help is on the way. They can play the 4, maybe some small ball 5, but until then, a lot is going to be on the shoulders of these guys to make decisions, to be in the right place at the right time, and I'm curious to see if they can keep that up. But I don't know. Maybe they won't. I guess if they don't, if Max Christie isn't this guy, then they're going to lose some games, and then Kyrie will get a really long rest. Like I don't know. How do you view this? Do y'all view this as the team is trying to stay afloat long enough to where the big men get healthy, or is it just we're going to give our best bet? We're going to put our best foot forward and try as hard as we can, even though we know they probably won't get healthy. Like, is this like a King Theoden at Helm's Deep saying, no, this is the end, but if it is the end, then we will go out with such a bang, like they'll sing songs about us.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they're going to go out on their shield as best as they can. I mean, to be realistic with their situation is, it's unsustainable to ask this player at 32 to play the kind of minutes that he's going to have to play, to not have the requisite big men in order to play night in and night out, And more importantly, you're depending on a lot of young guys that haven't been in these situations before, and they're going to make some mistakes and opportunities that they're going to have in crucial situations. So it's just a recipe for a lot of try hard and hopefully learning experiences for these guys so that by the time we get to the season's end, you know, they can look back and say, okay, these are some guys that we can lean on going into the future, going into next year when things are hopefully better from an injury standpoint. But I think you'll have to learn to deal with some of the growing pains that some of these guys are going to have to go through in moments. And even as well as Max Christie's played so far, he hasn't been necessarily in certain situations that he's going to have to be dependent upon much more than what he was in Los Angeles. So, yeah, we're going to find out a lot about these guys and what their capabilities are in crucial situations that may or may not produce wins at this juncture of the season.
Yeah, and they really don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, there's no ability. Let's say they just tried to lose all the games and tank right now. Like
They've won too many games already.
They've won too many games. It's literally that. They've won too many games to go get a pick that you realistically think is going to help you on a 2 or 3 year timeline. And if there is still percentage chances that Derek Lively and Anthony Davis could be starting game 1 of a first round series, you have to, you know, based off what, you know, the situation Dallas has put themselves in, they have to react to that and they have to keep trying. You know, there's really no other way around it. So I guess that's it. I mean, there's a league record I'm watching that Dallas might have a chance at breaking.
I like records.
Yeah. So Dallas, they've got a bit of work to do, but Dallas has played 56 games. So that means
that's not a record. Teams play 82.
That's true.
Well, it'd be a record if they stopped right now.
Ooh, that would be. No,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It would be, just barely. So 56 games, that means there are 26 games remaining. Dallas has played 27 starting lineups.
Ooh.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, again, they've got a ways to go. They've got to get all the way up to 50. The Memphis Grizzlies played 50 starting lineups last year.
It's going to be tough.
50 different starting
this record
lineups.
was just at last year? Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
That's going to be
Grizzlies.
really tough.
Wow.
But Jason Kidd, you can do it. You've got 26 games to go.
It is possible.
You just need different lineups in 24. I mean, you can't reuse any from earlier in the season, but now that Max Christie is here, that adds a lot of you know, newness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to cycle Klay Thompson in and out. You know, he needs to rest sometimes. Brandon Williams might be time for a start. He played pretty well. That's a great way to you know, kind of pad the numbers that way. Kyler Kelly, I don't care if you don't play him more than 3 minutes. Put him in the starting lineup.
Oh,
that's a
good
new,
idea.
unique starting lineup. Got 26 games, just 24 of those. 24 of those games need a unique starting lineup. I'm trying to think who else we can throw in here.
Well, Caleb Martin is going to be in.
Caleb
soon.
Martin, yeah, he'll
That's
get a
true.
start.
That's true. That's
know?
definitely going to help things.
PJ
And-
Washington on his way back.
That's right.
Okay, well, PJ's been in a lot, but the first
Not
time
with
that
Max
you,
Christie.
but the first time, but only the first time. You can't duplicate it.
No, I know, but you get.
Yeah, but you get one unique one that way.
Mm.
This is
Mhm.
possible.
It is absolutely possible.
Yeah.
This is possible. Claymore says, "How long is PJ Washington out?" I mean, I think the expectation is right out of the break, or
That's
is
my
that
understanding.
too optimistic?
No. That's my understanding. He's going to be back coming out of the break.
That's
Okay,
good.
That's good.
because they need a
Everybody
they
else,
need a center.
Who the hell knows?
Ooh, yeah, including Caleb Martin. I'll be honest, but
Yeah.
everybody else, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and there are still some, these aren't burning questions for the team, but it's burning questions for some of the players. Somebody mentioned it. Sorry, it's kind of lost in the chat now, but someone had mentioned that Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington going into the summer both will be entering the final year of their contract. Of course, Kyrie has an option on his deal, and
Which is a player option.
yeah, it's a player option. So Kyrie could become a free agent this summer. PJ and Gafford cannot, but they do become extension eligible this summer. I'm not sure that the Mavs would rush to sign Gafford to an extension, because signing guys to an extension, the rules are kind of weird, but it's, I just don't know if that's going to happen with him. With PJ, I'm not sure it's even viable, because he might be worth more than the max the Mavs could offer him. There's rules on that too. So,
and it might be worth it to him to just play it out and then go into free agency the
but I
following
mean,
summer.
if you are Daniel Gafford and you're going to miss the rest of the year with a knee injury as a big man going to last year of your deal, like that's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. We know the Mavs are rumored to be looking at big fish, and he makes a pretty big amount of money. So we'll see. So on the player side, there's still a lot for them to prove, not just like on the court, but also to management, Also to Jason Kidd, vying for playing time because they want more playing time so they get more stats, will lead some more money. So there's still a lot to play for down the stretch, even if they won't. I mean, Kessler Edwards, maybe he's proven himself as a center. Like everyone's got a little something to prove out there.
Yeah.
All right. So that's some burning questions, some burning hope, some burning cope coming your way. And coming up next, we're going to hand out some awards. We've already shared some love. How about we share some fake imaginary trophies here on the DLLS Mavs podcast? But first, I
was
have
gonna do that.
a great Valentine's Day gift for you. Nothing would make that special someone in your life
clearly, yes,
happier than the gift of becoming a diehard. And you can do that by scanning the QR code. That's a totally new spot for me. Right there. You can click the link in the description below, or you can go to alldlls.com/diehard and gift that special someone in your life access to a free shirt. That's like a great Valentine's Day gift, a free shirt, and a discount on any other gear that you could want, including shirts, hoodies. I have one that's very comfortable. It's keeping me warm during these trying times. How about mugs, cups, even flags? You can gift them access to Tim Cato's articles and all the other premium paywalled content on our site. It will grant them access to the DLLS Diehard Discord server.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? You're gifting them a bunch of friends. You're gifting them a whole new community. You're also gifting them discount on live events like the one we had at Cosm, and I think we got another one coming up soon for a different sport. But stay tuned for updates on that. And best of all, you get to gift them your physical diehard card.
That's right.
All those bennies can be yours for just $4 a month if you want to support what we're doing here at DLLS Sports. Hey, we appreciate you if you're just watching, if you're just chatting, if you're subbed to the channel, if you're liking the stream, sharing it with your friends and all your enemies. We appreciate that as well. But if you want to take your sport one step further, this is the best way to do it. Right in time for Ranger spring training, right in time for some breaking Mavs news, right in time for NHL trade deadline coming up, right in time for the combine and all of the draft content that our Cowboys team is going to be putting together. So thank you in advance for doing that. And I want to shout out a couple people just became diehards today. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to David. Last night, Asen, Joey, and Wesley all became diehards too. So shout out to everybody. And yeah, that's it. Enough peddling. Let's get back to the content.
I was going to ask you, does it give you access to Cooper Flag? You said access to flags. Does it give you access to Cooper Flag?
If becoming a diehard guaranteed the Mavs win the lottery, I'll become a diehard 5 times.
Wow.
I'll do it. I'll make 5 alts.
Become a diehard 5
that's
different
5
times.
free shirts, actually. It's like that's a great deal.
You fill out a
That's a wonderful deal.
Yeah.
All right. So some people out there are going to be lying to you when they talk about the All-Star break because they might call it the halfway point. This ain't the halfway point. The season's almost 2/3 of the way over. In fact, it's more than 2/3 of the way over, I think. Right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad at math. It is more than 2/3 of the way over. It's a sprint coming out of this thing. By the time the Mavs play their first game out of the break a week from today, there will be like 6 weeks left in the season. All right? Time is of the essence.
Rest in peace to Daniel Gafford's knee.
But it also means we've seen enough of this season to know who's deserving of some praise. And so we're going to dole out some awards. And I want to hear what y'all think as well in the chat. So as we go, let us know. We could have a little informal chat vote as well on these awards. Let's work our way up. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the most obvious one. Or is it obvious? Let's find out. Who is the Mavs MVP
DLLS
of the
post-game
season?
show.
Oh.
Who is the Mavs' second place MVP so far this season?
I'm going to say Kyrie Irving because a lot of nights he has made the games very watchable and entertaining, and even in the defeats, he's made them very bearable. Now, the DLLS postgame show has done that every single game.
You're damn right.
Win or loss.
That's right.
But Kyrie has done that for a lot of them. So, Kyrie.
Yeah, Kyrie's the obvious choice here. I mean, he's an all-star again this year. Has carried this team offensively, done so through injury. But as we mentioned a little earlier, has been the face of the franchise, especially in the wake of the trade. So Kyrie Irving, definitely the MVP of the Mavericks so far through 56 games.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unanimous in the chat right now. It's Kyrie. Claymore says PJ Washington is the runner-up. I would probably have to agree with you there. He's been really, really good and really steady, for the most part this season.
I might throw Daniel Gafford in there too.
What's interesting about Kyrie, though, is that had this been done like 2 months ago, the answer might have been the same. Even whenever Luka was still on the team, Kyrie was super consistent, very productive, did not miss a lot of games, whereas Luka was battling injuries, throughout most of the first half of the season before, obviously missing a ton of time after that calf injury on Christmas. And so, this season hasn't gone the way anyone wanted, but without Kyrie, it would have gone a whole lot worse.
Agreed. Yeah.
Kat, who's your MVP?
I gotta go with Kyrie as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. No contrarians. Abby, who's your MVP? Kai?
Yep.
I don't.
No one is bold enough.
Everybody's snubbing us.
No. Oh yeah. No one says DLLS Mavs postgame show.
Yeah.
FM says Kyler Kelly. I like that.
Oh, that's a good one. I thought this was for second, obviously.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
let's make
that's
that clear next time, Kat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm just saying. Sorry, that helps, but it doesn't fix the mistake.
All right. This one is.
Say, you guys have definitely played enough games to.
We're the only ones who have.
Played a lot of overtime as well.
Who is the Mavs' sixth man of the year? Now, I don't even know who would even qualify at this point, but who is the Mavs' sixth man of the year so
Najee
far?
Marshall, I think.
Oh, man. You know what? Bleep it. Max Christie.
Let's go.
Max Christie, sixth man of the year already through 6 games. Give it to Max Christie. 17 points per game. He's become a fan favorite. Max Christie, sixth man of the year for Dallas already. He's been here less than 2 weeks.
Start the engraving.
Yeah.
He has started only 2 of his 6 games.
That's
so
right.
He would qualify. But Najee has only started 14 of 43 games. So we'll go with Najee still.
First off, shout out RBZ. Good to see you again, my friend. But also, F you, RBZ, for breaking my heart and saying Quentin Grimes.
Oh.
No.
He dropped 30 the other night for Philadelphia.
He doesn't go here anymore.
No,
he
he
goes
does
to
not.
a different school.
That's right.
Sarah says Gafford. Okay, that's a good shout.
I'll allow it. Gafford started a ton of games though.
Gafford has technically started more games than he's sat.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
28 of 51.
Yeah.
The season really is cursed.
But it's
Yeah.
Sarah, so it's allowed. It's
Sarah, your vote
Yeah.
counts for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of Najee. Respect, dude. Najee's been really good. Obviously, whatever sickness he had took a lot out.
My
of him,
gosh.
but he's been pretty good. Kat, any other contenders, or do you agree with Najee? In the mic.
I was looking for the knife.
The knife.
The knife. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
We'll
about
find the drop?
Ooh, this is actually a really compelling one. Most improved player.
Ooh.
I've got Omax. And
Wow. Okay. I would not have guessed that.
I wasn't sure Omax was an NBA player, and I think he's shown enough that even if his future isn't in Dallas, he's going to catch on somewhere else. Like he was one of those players where you were questioning, does he have a second contract?
Yeah.
It was at that point.
We were.
I fear. Yeah. And I think what he's shown over this season, someone for sure, like he's going to be in the NBA 7-8 years. We'll see if he emerges as like a rotation player or anything like that. I still have some hesitancies about some of his effectiveness, especially on the defensive end, but not a bad. Like I think his future is probably a small ball big man, small ball center type player.
What about you, Bobby?
I'm gonna go with PJ Washington actually for this one for most improved player. I mean, he's got the toughest defensive assignment every night. To the chagrin of us at times, ball handling is a little bit of an issue. But I think he showed enough improvement in that area to be a credible ball handler at times. He's shown a little bit more in terms of his offensive game. He's shooting a career best from the 3-point line, I believe, so far this season. So I'm going to go with PJ Washington as the most improved because they've had to ask him to do a lot for this team. And I think he's improved enough to where I would give him that nod. We're not going to go with Omax.
Opinions are so diverse. So Camellia says Omax. Sarah says Dinwiddie. Ardell says Clay. Claymore says Omax and Gafford. Andrew says Grimes. Sarah Dinwiddie. Q Grimes says Kessler. Shout out Quentin Grimes in the chat, hanging out with us, fresh off scoring 30. Brian says Mad Max Christie. Smoke Show says Omax. Roger says Gafford. Like Ernesto says Edwards. everyone is saying somebody different. And I think, again, despite this season and pretty much anything associated with this organization not going the way that we hoped it would or expected it to, there's still a lot of guys stepping up, and playing above and beyond what we expected of them. I think if I had to answer, and I think both of those are really good ones, both PJ and Omax are good ones. I want to see Max Christie do this a little more than just 5 games. But if he's this guy, then I think it's him.
I think you can give a shout for Anthony Davis as well. He's averaging 7 assists in his Dallas career.
That is just crazy.
Like the leaps that he's taken as a playmaker,
yeah,
it's incredible. 7 assists per game. Like this is like we need to start having conversations like in the Jokic category.
Yeah.
A little bit more. It's a huge part of the Dallas offense. Every single game.
Tim Yeager says Jason Kidd. That's a good one too. Kat? Omax. We got the picture.
We do have the picture.
Agenda, baby.
Omax is our guy. He's the guy of Bobby.
I mean, give credit to Omax because Tim, you mentioned it. I mean, there were a lot of questions coming into the year whether that guy is actually an NBA rotational player, and you're seeing the game start to slow down for him in a number of ways to where you get the idea that, okay, he has enough there that you can feel better about as the season goes on because they're going to ask him to play a lot of minutes going forward as well. So if this is the trajectory that he is on, he's going to be a real contributor to this rotation for the rest of the year, and good for him because I didn't know if that was necessarily going to be the case for him this upcoming season, coming into the season, I should say.
In closing, this might actually be a tough one because the Mavs are just 3-8 in games that have been decided by 3 points or fewer. Last year was not the case. Clutch player of the year. No, we have to do it. This is an official
player of the year.
Clutch player of the year, Tim.
I will say that. Honestly, I'm still going to say Derek Lively is my defensive player of the year. Like it's just so obvious how much better this team is defensively when he's on the court.
How do you boot someone as the host? Do you have that power? Is there like a button over here or something?
Kevin, you should know this.
Wait,
I have to say a clutch player?
You literally have to. I will get so mad if you don't.
Okay.
I want to see Kevin get mad, actually.
KG, who's yours?
Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is a clutch player of the year. I mean, you just go back to the game they had against the Golden State Warriors. I mean, he had 42 points. He was making shots left and right. When they needed big shots from him, he's giving it to them for the most part. And Kyrie Irving is going to have to be the guy that continues to come up clutch 9 in and 9 out. So he gets 2 awards from me today. He gets the MVP and the clutch player of the year award from me.
How about, this is going to be a little controversial maybe, how about Derek Lively? Coming up with a lot of plays defensively in the clutch. This year.
And I said Derek Lively, and you got mad at me.
No, you gave an award that we weren't naming.
How about Derek Lively on clutch free throws this year?
Yeah.
100%.
Wow.
How many?
100%. He is 0.3 of 0.3 per game in 13 games.
He's 4 for 4.
Yeah, 4. He's 4 for 4.
Look, okay, here. Y'all ready for this one?
Yeah.
There's 3 players that are plus 20 or more total plus minus in clutch this year.
For the Mavs?
For the Mavs.
Okay.
Can we guess them?
I saw the answer already, so
Okay.
I'm hiding my computer screen.
Derek Lively.
1.
PJ Washington.
No.
One of the
Kyrie
answers
Irving.
makes me mad.
I know, me too.
Kyrie Irving.
No.
Quentin Grimes.
No.
Luka
Max
Doncic.
Christie.
No.
Maxi Kleba.
One of them I just said.
Who'd you just say?
What did they already guess?
I don't
Lively?
know. Do your 59-minute alert, and then we can continue this because I have to do this.
Hey, TV audience, thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to be back with you on Tuesday. Go to alldls.com for more updates. Become a diehard. Do all that stuff. Thanks for subbing. Sub on YouTube. Listen on Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff.
It sure as hell ain't Dinwiddie. Yes. Are you serious?
Yeah.
He is the leader in the clubhouse. He has played 60 clutch minutes. He's a plus 27.
Get the bleep out of here.
No, I'm serious.
Get the bleep out of here.
I mean, we can't cuss, so. That's a good callback. Shout out to David Fizdale. Take that for data.
So Spencer Dinwiddie, what? So is his raw plus minus the highest on the team?
Yep.
In the clutch?
In the clutch. And then there's one more guy. To be fair, he's only played 9 minutes and he's a plus 21.
Kyler Kelly.
I know who it is.
You're gonna die.
Who is it?
Mr. Airball himself.
Oh, Jaden Hardy? Oh man. We are down bad. We are down real bad. That 2 of the 3 guys that are the best in the clutch this year are Spencer Dinwiddie and Jaden Hardy.
I can't believe they keep giving Kyrie these minutes to end games. My other candidate for clutch player of the year was Klay Thompson because he's hit a lot of go-ahead shots. Unfortunately,
I'm about to say, when does he play in the clutch?
Well, he's played in 21 games that have counted as clutch, and the Mavs are only 7-14 in these games. The Mavs are not a good clutch team this year.
Ooh.
But Klay has hit how many should have been or could have been game winners has Klay hit this year? It's like at least 4 or 5.
Hell, he had one on Wednesday night against Sacramento.
Yeah, and he hit one against Golden State.
Yeah.
I think he hit one in the Utah game before they blew that John Collins dunk.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few. Like he's hit some really big shots. His shooting numbers in the fourth quarter have been pretty good, or at least were the last time I looked at him, which was a few weeks ago. So maybe they suck now. I don't know. But I'm a podcaster. I like talking out of my butt. It's what I do.
Oh wow.
All right. Well, I think that was a good show.
That was fun.
That was a good, solid show. Bobby, thanks for sitting in the analyst chair.
Thanks. Great job, Kevin. You did great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Kevin Gray killing it as always. Tim just doing what Tim does. Tanner?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yep. Thank you to Kat. Thank you all for hanging out with us. It's going to do it for us today here on the DLS Mavs podcast. We're not going to be with you on Monday. We will be back with you on Tuesday. We're going to try and enjoy this All-Star break. I hope you do as well. Spend some time with your family, with your friends. Hey, you can spend some time alone. Just chill, rest up, get ready for this stretch run.
Tell somebody you love them today on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, do that. Do that. Save the hate for tomorrow. Or
for the All-Star game on Sunday.
Or I will not be there. I will not be there. Thank you for spending this first 56 games with us. We look forward to sharing the last 26 games with you. It's been a whole lot of fun this year, despite everything going on. It's been a really good time. But enjoy this next week and get ready for this home stretch coming up because we're gonna need it. I am trying to land the plane.
Land the plane.
For Kati Vialba in the producer's chair. For Kevin Gray in the analyst chair. For Tim Cato in the Tim Cato chair. For Mark Stein, wherever Mark is. For GM Ben. And for all of you in chat, I'm Bobby Corella. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the DLS Mavs podcast. And we will see you next week. Until then.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.